receiver, I'm not going to lie, Sam. I feel like it's my specialty. That's the position I've really dialed in these last couple of weeks, analyzing a lot of these draft prospects. And let me tell you who I like. I got two guys who I don't know if they're round 3 or round 4 guys, but they're guys that I really like. And out of Western Michigan, Dwayne Eskridge. I love him. He's like electric. That. And not only that, this guy, he gets it upfield. He's not tiptoeing and dancing around. He's got some moves, but really, I love that he's a north-south guy, and he's dynamic. Another smaller school player out of South Dakota State, Cade Johnson. I really like Cade Johnson. He feels pretty polished for a guy you can get round 3, round 4. Love Cade Johnson. If we're going to go this is another like round 4-ish guy. You let me know if you guys see him elsewhere. But Amari Rodgers, he's another kind of hybrid, can give you a rushing element to him, as well as he's a slot guy. I love Amari Rodgers out of Clemson. You already mentioned Jalen Darden out of North Texas. That dude's got juke moves for days. He will juke you out of your shoes. So I like Jalen Darden. And a guy that really I think 49ers Twitter has put me onto is Austin Watkins. And where he's from Alabama, Birmingham. And Austin Watkins, when I watched his tape, it gives me flashbacks to a young Josh Gordon. Like Josh Gordon early in his career with the Browns, just with his size, his speed, and his ability to beat you deep down the field. I like Austin Watkins. And a guy later, I don't know where he's going to go. I think he's a potentially a day 3 guy, is Smith Marsett out of Iowa, right? He's got some size and speed. He's a guy, if we want a deep threat, Smith Marsett.
There you go.
All right. So a couple of guys for me. If we go round 3, guy that could be there is Tutu Atwell, 5'9", 175. I love his skill set, and especially with a guy like Wes Welker coaching him, I think that could be a great fit there. I look at Benjamin St. Joseph. Seth Williams out of Auburn for
love
round
that guy.
4, 6'3", 220. We're talking about a guy that's going to bully you. That's one guy that's going to do it. And then another round 3 guy would be Amon-Ra St. Brown. I believe that we've talked about him earlier, but those are some guys that I'm looking at. But for me, the guy that I've really fallen in love with is definitely Seth Williams out of Auburn. That 6'3", 220, you can't beat it. And he did it in the SEC, bullied a lot of very good corners. He high points the ball extremely well, is extremely aggressive at the catch point, catches away from his body, just everything that you can like about somebody that can win in contesting catches. He's the guy for you. So those are the guys that I'm looking at.
Also could be another Jalen Hurd replacement with that size if you really want to. Right. I mean, the versatility you don't know about, but that's also with Tamorian Terry. That's with Trayvon Grimes. Right. Could just put him in there. Would be a very good fit. I will say, though, I'm a lot lower on Tutu Atwell than a lot of people. The film
Me too. I'm not big on Tutu.
My thing with the film is it could – I will say quarterback play definitely helps with the film, like looking weak. But it was just it was interesting to see. He was just open on every play, and I was confused how he did that. That was my big concern with Tutu Atwell. Like he didn't have the size, speed. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't the greatest speed from what I saw. And then it was just interesting, Phil. I couldn't really figure him out, so I'm a bit lower on Tutu Atwell. But with a guy, as you said, Jesse, with a guy like Wes Welker, it could very well work out in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's what I look at. Another guy that I talked about a couple weeks ago, we can get him around 5'6", and I'm sure that they've seen a lot of film on him because they've been watching Zach Wilson, and that's Dax Milne, to be real with you. I think in that slot spot, everybody's like, well, he's way too slow. Well, that may be true. He didn't run the fastest 40, but look at Wes Welker. He ran a 4.79, if I remember correctly. His 3-cone wasn't very quick. Like, there was nothing about Wes Welker that screamed he would be a good NFL receiver. So there's a lot that goes into it. I think just knowing how to get open, it doesn't matter how fast you are, that plays big into it. And again, if you have somebody like Wes Welker who's done that job and done it at an elite level, if you are more physically gifted than he is, he can certainly work with that.
Yeah, and for me at wide receiver, I do want to touch on those 2 guys I talked about earlier, Rashad Bateman, Terrence Marshall. I think for me, Terrence Marshall, I've heard he's going to be there. And I think he is not just an ideal fit, but he's the ideal Kendrick Bourne replacement if you look at any of the receivers in this draft. And like Sam mentioned, he really is Kendrick Bourne plus. He's an impressive receiver. He's going to make those third down catches. He's going to fill that role for the 49ers. They don't have to they can use Debo and Ayuk for more gadget plays if they get a guy like Terrence Marshall. So I think that's where the value is in him. But my favorite receiver in the draft is someone everyone has maybe talked about a little bit, but I really want to talk about is De'Ami Brown. I love this kid. He's my favorite second, third round receiver out of anyone. He's getting a lot of this flack because he only plays on the left side of the field. He only runs so many routes. But if you look at what North Carolina asked him to do, what they were trying to accomplish within that offense, he did everything that was asked of him, and he's fairly newer to the position. So I think he's only going to get better from here. If you look at his advanced statistics, he gets all the deep stuff. That's where his bread and butter is. And I think he could be a really explosive playmaker for the 49ers, especially when we see them go away from Jimmy Garoppolo and bring in this new quarterback. They're going to need some more pass catchers who can get the ball, down the field and pass the numbers. So I think that's just going to be something they're going to have to plan for. But, I hate that all you guys went ahead of me because you're mentioning all these guys I love, like Cade Johnson and the kid out of North Texas. And there's even the Stanford receiver, I think, Simi. Oh, gosh, I was going to put
Fahoko? Is it Fahoko?
Yeah.
I'm not going to try, but there's just it's a deep receiver class. And I think if you look at Kyle Shanahan's history, it's not just because I agree with what Sam said, but Kyle has taken one or two receivers in every single year that he's drafted. And people really need to keep that in mind. And he's taken them high when he has. So I think that's going to happen again. And I think he's just going to fall in love with someone in this draft. I think it even could be a Kadarius Toney if they want to trade up for someone. So, to me, I think there's any number of options for the Niners at wide receiver, whether they want to go early, whether they want to go later on. And like I mentioned earlier, they have 160 players on their board. So even if it's around 155, if they love some receivers at that point, great, go get one. So, I think there's a lot of different options for the Niners in the draft.